What's up, y'all? It's J Moore. That's right, guys. Where is the love? That's what I'm wondering. That's why I picked that song because just all the things I've been looking at lately, been since my eyes have been kind of open to to be alert to my surroundings, what's really happening in the world. I swear to God, that's basically the question that pretty much pops up in my head all day, every day. There's just a ton of people running around this earth showing no love towards one another. And then if that's not bad enough, man, we got we got the people who are supposed to protect us from uh, our biggest problems or the most dangerous situations, or you know what have you, whatever is an issue we would take into a court of law. And we got the people in there. They're not showing any love at all. In fact, they're worse than the regular people that we got to deal with on a day-to-day basis that are just, maybe a little unpleasant. These people are absolute criminals of the highest sort. And when I say where's the love, I'm not looking for love in the form of a favor. Like, hey, let me throw you some cheddar and you take care of this case for me, judge. I'm talking about that kind of love. I'm talking about love as in you just show me the basic requirements and standards of how a real court of law is supposed to operate, and don't deviate from that. Sorry guys, hold on one sec. Sorry y'all, that was my mama. You guys might be lucky today. I have to go get her in a little minute here, so maybe this will actually be my first short or reasonably timed video. We'll see. So anyways, like I was saying, you guys all know, if you done been fighting this child support thing, or even if you just think back to, because I'm sure we've all been in there and had the experience where you're in there, you're telling them the truth, you really didn't do anything wrong, and you still get hammered, and I'm talking about proceedings other than child support. It's happened to me. I've called the cops and ended up being the one getting in trouble. So, it's really, to me, it's disgusting. And, the worst part about it though is that we could do something about it, but there's just too many people that are either too scared or they just don't understand what it takes. This could be done through paperwork, guys. You get enough cats in a group that affix their signature to some type of petitions about how you need some type of change immediately, especially if it has something to do with a judge that is notoriously overstepping constitutional rights, which they all do. But something along that lines with a constitutional protection, and you start sending that to the right people, or you start sitting out in front of they house in a big ass group, putting the pressure on these folks, man, I think there would probably be some changes. I'm not saying nothing violent, even though that, I don't even think that would work, because what all that would really do is probably get a lot of us jacked up instead, but I think it could be done purely through paperwork and the right procedures. And man, all this stuff could end, but unfortunately they got the masses so blinded, it would be hard to get that many people together to pull something like that together. But anyways, the reason for this video, I'm going to show you guys a case law I stumbled upon. And what it reminded me of is, I was watching a video of a brother that was, I guess he was giving his experience about, actually, Amon Osiris made a video about him, about how, he went to child support and with a lawyer and lost or whatever. And but the main thing though is he was questioning, Amon Osiris, Rick W. Has he wants some proof? Does anybody see if they work? You know, and then I see some of the comments below that video. He didn't really dog him or anything, but he was just like, "Yo, I would like to see some proof," and that's understandable. But then I see some of the comments and yeah, I'm in Osiris gave me paperwork and it didn't work and won't. Yes, people. I mean, both of these guys. Okay, yeah, he calls himself the God of Law, and he, a little confident about his knowledge and his ability to help you. But but he still at the end of the day says it's up to you. You can't. I mean, he cannot walk in there for you for the most part and handle this situation. You're gonna have to somehow get it done. And the fact that I'm sure we've already been putting a dent in these people's profits, and they're scared to take any more losses. I'm sure they're gonna tighten up, and things are gonna have to be even more perfect, or we're gonna have to go even more times, or they're not gonna lighten up. Put it that way. They are gonna push back for sure. These people are, if they're greedy enough to even get involved in a scheme like this, where it's just straight theft, where they're just taking people's money, what makes you think that they're just gonna be like, oh, okay, you guys caught us. Sorry about that. We'll let y'all go. No, they're gonna push back automatically. It's common sense, man. And they're allowed to do it because of, again, where's the love? There ain't no love in this world, man. Everybody's about money. Not everybody, but unfortunately the people that are controlling things are purely about money and their friends and their family, and they ain't thinking about nobody else. So I just wanted to make this video again to emphasize, you guys, I mean, I don't care whose paperwork you get and how tight it is. You can blow it yourself by not understanding, by not putting it in properly, by not maybe putting the right motion behind the paperwork. I mean, dude, there's a ton of reasons, man. By not bringing up the specific topics that are crucial to your argument, because of how they get you in there and start jerking you around so that you get off balance, and you may forget, you may not say it right, dude. I mean, it's just there's tons of reasons and ways they can justify not letting you free, even though the paperwork is right. And again, if you want to know if Rick W is right, if you want to know if Amon Osiris, Yaz, Magnify, Wasil, and whoever else you may come up upon, the information is correct, you need to read it, verify that it comes from a credible source, and then understand the information. And by understand, I mean study to the point where you feel that yes, this is correct. That they're not just bullshitting and trying to make money. So the title of this, I'm gonna name this video something like judicial immunity is a problem. Because here's what I want to emphasize again. The reason we are going into these proceedings in front of these so-called judges, sometimes real judges, even though they're, according to child support statutes, no one can ever technically be a judge while sitting on a child support case, but nevertheless, whatever you want to call these people have the power, regardless of whether they're a judge or not, to make the dumbass people that work under them execute their fraudulent orders. So, I mean, what can you do? I don't care if it's a 5-year-old girl sitting on the damn bench. If she somehow is getting people to execute her orders and steal your property, then there's not, what can you do? You understand what I'm saying, guys? And I think the big problem for that is in this case right here. It's called Stump versus Sparkman. I listen to a lot of videos and stuff, and anytime I hear a good quote out of a case law or something, I usually write it down. I usually try to get to it later and read it. I don't even remember specifically why I wrote this case down, but it ended up being good. In this case right here, it's pretty messed up. Again, relating back to the song, "Where's the Love?" Because we in this situation, we got a mother who, I don't know the whole circumstances around this case, and let me explain to you what I got from the case before I show you the couple things I want to show you out of the case specifically. We had this mother, okay, she went to the court ex parte, which means, it's either her lawyer and the judge, or her and the judge, or all three of them. I don't know. But the party that this order is pertaining to is not around. So if you guys know anything, right away you should know that's a violation of due process. How in the hell are you trying to get an order pertaining to somebody's rights, and we're not going to have any hearing about this? We're not going to serve anybody, allow for a response, a defense. We're just gonna take it ex parte, and that's fine if they want to take it ex parte. But this judge, he went on ahead and executed the order for him, or signed off on it. That's where the problem lies. That's just a total violation of due process. But they don't really touch on that too much in this case. But what we have is his mother, who I guess has a 15-year-old daughter. And it explains in this case law, if you guys read it, you'll see, it explains this girl as being like mildly retarded. Probably as a result of the way this mother sounds and what she did. She's probably a drug addict or something. Or you know what? Hey, them damn needles they stick into all those babies, 50,000 times, called, as we grow up, called, what are they called? Vaccinations. They could probably do some mildly retard somebody or worse. So, but just judging off of the type of lady this sounds like, it wouldn't surprise me if she was, doing all type of stuff while this baby was in the womb. And she came out mildly retarded, because we know that happens too. So either way, yeah, look, it's right here. It says the girl is somewhat retarded. Then it goes on to explain the girl was moving along with all her classmates in school. Somebody married her, so I don't think she was obviously she wasn't the type of retarded where they're drooling or just totally incompetent or any of that type of stuff. Sounds like she just had some mental disabilities, which, that doesn't really make a person extremely weird or awkward or anything like that. We all got a friend that's, according to these words, somewhat retarded. So, I don't think that's a big deal. But apparently this mother felt that her retardation was what was causing her to make bad decisions. So because I guess this girl was going out at night and even not coming home sometimes, and staying with men. That's what she claims in her petition. And I agree that's a problem. But I feel like maybe somebody ain't doing too great of a job of parenting if you cannot work it out so that your daughter respects your wishes and she's not running the streets at night. God dang. Hold on, guys. Yeah, so maybe that's some bad parenting if you can't figure out how to get your daughter to respect your wishes. But anyways, it's because of this, because she's sneaking out and all this lady petitions the court to approve a sterilization of this girl so that she can never have kids. That is, as bad as child support is, that is a way worse violation of somebody's rights. And furthermore, with no discussion, no hearings, trial, defense, any of that, any opportunity for this girl to argue why she shouldn't be having the prospect of having a child taken away from her for the rest of her life. And then on top of it, when they took this girl to the hospital, they told her it was like it was some type of minor surgery, no big deal, right? Instead, they take away this girl's ability to have a child. And this is the mother that did this. So I have a feeling this is a dysfunctional family of at some level. I'm not saying that maybe in some cases this wouldn't be proper. If someone is fully retarded, maybe, I could see that. Especially if I don't know how that works, maybe they pass that gene on. I could see the argument. But just because she's somewhat retarded, which is there's no real definition for what that even means. She could just be claiming that because the girl's a little slow, and because she's running the streets, you didn't strip her of this right. I think that's disgusting. I think the fact that a judge, even though let's just say he was authorized to make that call, we need to talk about it. We're not just going to be signing orders, ex parte orders on the spot, and you don't want to hear nothing from this girl. And throughout this case, it actually alleges, it kind of alleges in some, without really saying it, like there was some shady stuff going on. Like I don't know, like on the judge's part, like he was doing it maliciously or something like that. So I don't know if there was any relation there or any the judge somehow knew or was familiar with this girl, but it definitely hints towards some definite misconduct by the judge. It's a pretty messed up case, guys. I would read it if you have some time. It's good learning, and it shows you how they play games, because as you can see here, we got all the judges here. I think it was 5 of them. If you can see, they all agreed, and then 3 of them disagreed, and then 1 didn't even want to get involved, I guess. But the 5 agreeing that the judge had immunity, they won, obviously, because that's how it goes. The majority wins, and this became law. So anyways, I'm going to point out a couple little things that were said here that are just very troublesome. And now what we're talking about specifically is judicial immunity. This is why your paperwork is not working, guys. These guys don't have nothing to worry about. First of all, they know you can't do nothing physically to them, because they could easily, who's going to not believe a judge when you go bust them upside the head and while they're walking into their house or whatever, or worse, because they deserve worse. I would never do anything like that because I don't like jail or prison. But they deserve worse. Back in the day, they used to hang them cats up for violating the Constitution like it was nothing. They probably just 5, 6 people go grab that joker and string them up. You want to violate rights? You want to sit on this bench and act like you're protecting people and violate rights? And oh, okay, we got something for you. I bet you they didn't have to do it much though. But these cowards, these cowards that like to steal people's money through their law enforcement authority. They came up with, they got the 11th Amendment, I believe it is, in the Constitution, and I understand. It's what it's really meant for is so that a judge can make tough decisions without a fear of retaliation. In the simplest terms, that's its purpose. Because there are times when they got to make some decisions that are maybe unfavorable or whatever. And they don't want to have to make that decision without the fear of getting sued or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I got this highlighted right here. This is one of the two things that I just found. So I don't know if it's two things or two, but never mind. Anyways, here's the first one. Let me find my place here. Okay, look right here. The Court of Appeals correctly recognized that the necessary inquiry in determining whether a defendant judge is immune from suit is whether, at the time he took the challenge action, he had jurisdiction over the subject matter before him, because some of the most difficult and embarrassing questions with a judicial officer is called upon to consider and determine relate to his jurisdiction. Ooh, he's gotta take on these tough cases. So we feel so sorry for him. Whatever. And then it goes on to say, the scope of the judge's jurisdiction must be construed broadly, where the issue is the immunity of the judge. A judge will not be deprived of immunity because the action he took was an error, was done maliciously, or was in excess of his authority. Rather, he will be subject to liability only when he has acted in the clear absence of jurisdiction. So for y'all who didn't get that the first time around, basically what it's saying is if a judge acts in error, which is fine, they make mistake, no big deal, he's got immunity. Then it goes on to say, or was done maliciously. What? If a judge acts maliciously, he cannot be deprived of immunity? What? If he acts maliciously. Let's look that up. Maybe I don't quite understand the freaking definition of maliciously, but I have a feeling I do. In a manner characterized by malice or ill will, with intent to do harm. What? So a judge can intend to do harm, but he still has immunity? That's what it says, guys. It's not what I'm saying. That is what this case law is saying. Does that not blow your mind? Even the excess of authority, that could happen by mistake or on purpose. But he's doing it on purpose, and he definitely shouldn't be immune. But he is, according to this. The only way he's not immune is in the clear absence of all jurisdiction. All, not some, all. So, do you see, guys, how much room they're giving these judges to just do whatever, and you can't do nothing to them? Rick W. tried to get at the one lady. She's not even a real judge. Couldn't do shit. Because look at it, says it must be construed broadly where the issue is immunity. Broadly, that means we're going to look to any way we can say, oh, he has immunity. We're not going to, you understand, guys? That's what that's saying. Broadly, wide. Lots of room. Lots of areas to search into to grant this guy immunity. So, it's just that's why we're having problems, guys. Forget whose paperwork is doing what. It's that these judges, unless you gotta really be, you gotta get, I don't know. I don't really know what the key is. I personally feel like you're gonna have to go in there more than once, and your arguments are going to have to be spot on, and you are going to have to know child support very well to be out of it, to get out of it. Plain and simple. If they think you don't know what you're talking about, they're most definitely probably not going to let you go. For sure, guys. So for those guys, all out there, whose paperwork, or who, anybody's success with Ahmed's paperwork or who Rick's paperwork. Man, forget the doggone paperwork. You've confirmed the paperwork's right. And then you got to study and you got to know it and you got to still be ready to fail. Because these guys have a broad, remember that word, broad, must be construed broadly, whether or not they have immunity. Okay, guys. The other thing I want to show you, this right here, it's just another clue. See, you can get little clues when you read case law. And another thing I want to say, the other judges who disagreed with this ruling, they pretty much straight up said, man, this guy, he was out of line. The other judges try to be nice about it when they're saying that, he does have immunity, he qualifies. The judges that say he doesn't qualify, like, man, that guy was, I don't know where he thought he had the ability to order a girl's sterilization. And they're right, because that was the first thing I thought when I started reading. I'm like, how the hell is that possible? And it probably shouldn't be, but these judges, all these judges probably agree, like, man, he shouldn't have did that. But they don't want to get him sued because they're all buddies, they're all in the same club, and you're not. Plain and simple. Let's see. This is the other part I wanted to get to real quick, and then we're going to wrap it up, guys. It says, in the Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit held in Lynch v. Johnson, that the county judge sued in that case was not entitled to judicial immunity because his service on a board with only legislative and administrative powers did not constitute a judicial act. That's the other thing they keep talking about in here, guys, is, was what he did a judicial act, you know what I'm saying? And they came around to saying it did qualify as a judicial act, so that's one of the tests for judicial immunity, is whether or not they were doing a judicial act. But this clearly says that, because this judge his service was on a board with only legislative and administrative powers. Administrative powers. If you've been listening for a while to Ahmed Osiris or Rick W., I think they have made it clear what administrative powers are. If you don't know, I'm going to let y'all look it up, because this right here is pretty powerful. Okay? Because if they're not doing a judicial act, they're not entitled to immunity. They're not entitled to immunity. They do not have jurisdiction. Plain and simple. So anyways, guys, just this case is pretty disturbing. The fact that these judges are just allowed to, do as they wish, that's pretty disgusting. And it just made me think, man, like, where's the love? But at the end of the day, they're gonna have to let us go eventually if we fight hard enough. Other people have gotten off. It's just a matter of time, persistence, knowledge, putting all that together, and not letting them get you discouraged and quit, because that's pretty much what they're doing at this point. I don't think they're gonna keep breaking the law over and over and over. For one person, that is. If you've been in there 2-3 times, I don't think they're gonna, never let you go, but you're gonna have to probably be persistent. And with that in mind, we're gonna end out on this one right here, because I believe if you do stay persistent, guys, bring in the right tools, someday, for all those who do and stick with it, we'll all be free. Peace out.
Keep going.